Hello, and welcome to A Lady Well Traveled. I'm Shannon Bednarova, your host and creator. I'm delighted that you've joined us today. If this is your first time tuning in, this is a program about travel. And what we endeavor to do is to help you make your travel experience less stressful and more meaningful. We want you to have memories that you can cherish for a lifetime. And I'm so excited to introduce you to my guest today. And her name is Tara Connaghan. And Tara is a professional Irish fiddle player. She's a podcaster. She's an author, educator, tour guide, and arts manager in Ireland. That's a lot, isn't it? She specializes in a topic that most people avoid, which is the unspoken etiquette in Irish traditional music sessions. That's what I said. She helps musicians, especially newcomers, visitors, and adult learners, understand the subtle dynamics of Irish music sessions so that they can join in with confidence, respect, and musical sensitivity. They avoid awkward missteps and ultimately enjoy better, more welcoming music experiences. That's a lot to unpack. But Tara, welcome. We're excited to have you. So let's get started. How are you?
Hello, Shannon. Thank you so much for having me.
What a beautiful accent you have. To give our listeners some context, please share with us how you came to start playing music, especially the violin or the fiddle, as you call it. Did you come from a musical family, or was this a talent that you were just born with and developed?
I don't think any of us came out of the womb knowing how to play music. I think you have to develop an interest, and I did that along the way. And it was kind of in a roundabout way. My granny used to play the melodeon. It's a 10
Mhm.
key accordion, which I have here behind me. Yes, she passed away when I was about 7. So before that, she used to play a little bit in the house. Not an awful lot, but a little bit, especially when I started doing Irish dancing. And that's like every Irish female of that age would have went to Irish dancing lessons. Any Irish boy would have went to football. That was just normally what happened. So I went to Irish dancing. I loved Irish dancing. No, but I was really bad at it.
And we're talking about like river dance, Irish
Yes,
dancing.
yes,
Okay.
that kind of Irish dancing, yes. So the teacher would teach me things. She would get me to teach some of the other students in the class, and she'd say, "Listen to Tara's rhythm. I had really good rhythm, but don't watch your feet." I wasn't an elegant dancer, so I had all the tunes because Irish music is what we would have danced to. So I would have had a lot of tunes in my head between my grandmother and the Irish dancing. My parents didn't play. My sister plays a little bit. But I'm the eldest, so she is 11 years younger than me, so that wasn't an influence really. But yeah, so it kind of came about. I had a sister who was a year younger than me. I started playing guitar, I started learning classical piano and flute, and she started
Uh-huh.
learning the fiddle. And when she was 10, she passed away. She was a
Oh,
very
goodness.
sick child, so she had a heart problem and she went in for an
Oh,
operation and didn't come out of it. So
uh,
and that kind of we had the fiddle there, and the fiddle teacher asked if my
mhm.
mother would like to sell it to some of the other young fiddle players in the area because he was struggling to get smaller instruments. And then he maybe realized how shocked she was. It was just a year after
Mhm.
my sister had passed away. And he kind of said, "Oh, maybe Tara would like to try it," or as a kind of a back out, "Oh, geez, what have I just done?" And so my mother approached me and said, "Would you like to learn the fiddle?" And I was like, "Oh, sure, why not?"
Uh-huh.
My sister had already started teaching me what she was learning. So when I
Uh-huh.
went to the classes, I started learning the things that she taught me already, and I was for out the door. If we don't start doing it something else, I'm out. This is boring as shit. I said, "Look, teach me anything, even Irish music." At that stage, I was only 12, so Irish music was something that I danced to, and that was it. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't like something that I love the sound of it. No, it was just something, anything, just not what you're teaching me now at the minute. Then I kind of around 16, I had a friend as well. So
Mhm.
because she was playing music and we were both friends at school, she was a couple of years at the fiddle longer than I was. I was always striving to be like Denise because Denise was always what I would aspire to. She was playing for longer, and her dad would bring us both to festivals and
Okay.
the local pub up here. Just a couple of miles out of the town. We've had a great time. It's away from parents. It was an
Mhm.
escape and it was
Sure.
so much
Yeah.
fun. So
Mhm.
that's kinda how I got into it, more because I was like, "Oh, I could see everybody's having fun around me." I was like, "Oh, I could definitely do this for a living. Can I make a living out of this? I
That's
just wanna do
right.
this."
It sounds like you were playing so many different instruments, you definitely had some talent.
I loved music. I loved the sound of it, and I had really good music teachers in school as well, like the theory side. Like that
Mhm,
one of them was Mr. Rafferty, and he was just so excited when he would listen to like classical music was his thing,
mhm.
and he would
Yeah,
get like even thinking about it. There's the Mendelssohn's Hebrides Overture. It was one of the classical pieces that were on one of our high school exam
mhm.
the curriculum that we had to learn and listen. And when he would listen to that, he would get so excited and enamored. I'm feeling it in my stomach at the
Yeah.
minute. I'm feeling exactly the way I felt when you'd see somebody so excited. He was like, "Oh my God, listen out for this." It was so cool. And so that's kind of what I've just kind music for me, music is full of excitement everywhere.
Passion. Yes, I
Yeah.
love that. Well, thank you for giving us that background. I asked if you would play for us and share some of your love
Yeah.
of the music that you feel is highly evocative of the Irish experience. And so I'm going to ask you to play again. So you have your option of what to play now. So would you please share something with us?
I could surely. I was thinking of the first one that I might play is it's a tune from this area particularly. I'm in the northwest of Ireland, which is
Okay.
Donegal, and it's beside Northern Ireland, but not part of Northern Ireland. We're part of the Republic of Ireland, and we hang on by about between 8 and 11 kilometres. That's it. And the rest of our borders with Northern Ireland or the Atlantic Ocean. Take your pick.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're quite isolated. So there's a lot of tunes that have gone back, a few that we can trace back. And this one comes from the late 1700s.
Mhm.
There's writings about this tune. It's called Maggie Pickin or Maggie Pickens or Maggie Picky.
Mm.
It's a dance, and the dance has about maybe 40 steps or something to it. It's very cool. It goes on forever, but it's brilliant. It's a solo dance. Nowadays, it's not danced very much. I've learned a few of the steps. It's lovely. But so it's called Maggie Pickin or Maggie Picky, and I thought I would play that because it's not played in a lot of places around Ireland. It's just mostly played in this area.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you.
You're
I can
welcome.
see where that would be a dance. That's stunning. I love that. Now, have you ever recorded music so that our listeners can find you on Spotify or Pandora?
I have myself and another fiddle player from this area. We recorded an album back in 2011. Which is
Okay.
called The Far Side of the Glen, because our
Okay.
both mothers are from the one village, and we're from the two villages on the other side. So have to go through this glen called the Glengesh Pass to get to each other. So we just thought that was kind of a catchy title. It's really, really
Nice.
concentrated on fiddle music from this area, which you wouldn't hear in the rest of Ireland at all. Because we're quite isolated, we do have a lot of regional differences.
Sure.
So that was recorded in 2011. That's called The Far Side of the Glen, Tara Connaghan and Derek McGinley. And then I have another one that was recorded in 2020, maybe. It was called The She Fiddlers.
The She
It
Fiddlers.
looks like it's Psy Fiddlers because it's S-I acute. So it's an I fa that's, but in Irish language, it's she. So it's the word for female and it's also the word for like fairies and maybe about 100 years ago, even less than 100 years ago, if a female were to play the fiddle, they were called the she fiddler, which was not a a very positive term to put on them. They were kind
Okay.
of, it was kind of derogative, as in, bit of a witch, not sure what kind of thing you are, because you're not supposed
Okay.
to be playing fiddle. You're not supposed to be, it's not a lady's instrument. So you weren't
Hmm.
really seen as a lady.
My.
Yeah, but so that's a gang
Interesting.
of 13 female fiddle players from this area.
Wow.
I tend to play a lot of music from this area, even
Yeah.
though
Well, I love that though.
I did live all over Ireland as well. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I would encourage our listeners to look you up and download some
yeah,
of your music. I'm definitely going to do that. All right. So let's dive into your website called sessionetiquette.com. So, did your experience in working with other Irish musicians lead you to decide, gosh, these folks are all awkward and how they communicate? I'm going to do something to help them. I need to provide etiquette lessons for newcomers. And tell me about that. Were you in music sessions first before the podcast came? How did that
yeah, yeah.
transpire?
I love music sessions. I play on stage as well, but for
Yeah,
me, I love playing in a session because it's when you're playing with other people, it's more of a teamwork thing. The sum is great. Is it the sum is greater than the total is greater
parts.
than the sum of the parts, isn't it? Or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah,
Even if you were to sing in a choir versus sing on your
sure.
own, sometimes the hairs in the back of your neck stand up because you've just created something together and it's amazing.
Magnificent, like the orchestra,
Yeah, and
it's a
is
beautiful thing. Yeah.
it is addictive. The etiquette thing came out of I teach a lot of adults. I'm not great at teaching kids. Hands up now, sorry kiddies. I love teaching adults because I really feel like I can move them from one place to another musically and getting them excited and just confidence building. And so I found that a lot of the time it seemed to be a performance anxiety thing. I was thinking about maybe writing a book on performance anxiety, and one of my adult fiddle students is a retired doctor. And I asked him if he would be my medical advisor on this project for the book about performance anxiety in music. And he said, absolutely what? He said, what I think we really need it's a book on session etiquette. And I said, absolutely no way. No way. I think that's a vile subject. Have you ever seen I saw the horrible comments online, like the keyboard warriors and people, oh
Mhm.
no, because it can be very hurtful things are said and never touch that subject. And he was like, well, the reason we have this kind of performance
Mhm.
anxiety is because we just don't know all the rules or how we're supposed to act in a session. So it is about the etiquette. If we had that, then we wouldn't need as much. We wouldn't have as much anxiety about going into sessions. And so he kind of wore me down and I was like, okay. And so I said, right, well, sure, I'll write a book about it. And I said, but I need to have conversations with lots of people about it because I don't want it to be
Mhm.
just my opinion. I want it to be other opinions, the kind of communal opinion.
Mhm.
So I thought I'll look for funding from the Arts Council to write this book, which I did. And then they came back to me saying, you don't have enough written yet. So come back to us next year or something. But in my proposal, I'd said, I'll have a conversation with all these, other people as well. And I'll release those as a podcast, as a
Yeah.
throwaway comment.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, sure, I'll start having the conversations now anyway, so that then I can next year maybe have a book, then have content for a book. And then I started releasing them. And I don't know how the podcast has sort of taken over, but it's just, it's taken over my life. Every waking
Amazing.
moment. Yeah,
It really is.
it is brilliant. So yeah, I haven't written the book yet. Maybe next year. Next year,
Maybe
maybe, I
next
think.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you and I talked, it was a revelation to me because I didn't understand how culturally different Irish people are and that they don't want to be confrontational about communicating differences. And you were telling me that they'd rather basically die than tell somebody something that
Yeah.
offends them. And especially with music, and that creates a lot of anxiety and angst, and especially when playing together, there's a lot of miscommunication, and people end up having a lot of problems anyway. And if you think it would be easier if people would just come out and say what they think or feel, but they don't.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons you started this session
Yeah.
etiquette.com and the podcast as well, is to try to help folks really get over that or
I will.
understand how they can gently broach the subjects that they need to talk about.
Yeah. It's the fear of the unknown as well. A lot of the questions you would have from adult learners, or especially if I'm ever doing workshops, which I would be frequently, maybe 4 or
Mhm.
5 times a year, maybe doing a summer school or teaching a workshop. Inevitably, at some part of the weekend, somebody's gonna ask, "Is it okay to do this in a session?" Or, "Am I okay to sit there in a session? Do I have enough tunes to go into the session?" There's so many questions that they
Mhm.
have, and
Mhm.
it's just the fear of the unknown. So it's kind of trying to put words on those unknowns so that people can feel a bit more confident. Because I think even when then they go into the session with with so many unknowns, they do then some anxious behaviours that they wouldn't normally do as normal adult people. And we all do it, I suppose. For going into something that's totally new and totally you're worried about your skill level, even though that's probably the least thing you have to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what blew my mind about this because I see music as kind of this universal way of communicating. And I see jam sessions as everybody's welcome. It really doesn't matter. Come on in, bring your guitar, bring whatever, play your instrument. But you're kind of telling me that that's really not how it functions, especially, I guess, in Ireland or yeah, there's more of an unwritten code of behavior that you really can't step over. And so maybe are things based on seniority? Are they based on skill level? How does that work exactly?
There is a bit of meritocracy, definitely. So there's a
Okay.
bit of kind of skill level there, and seniority, but it's also, I think it's more just about manners. So I
Mhm.
think if anybody has manners, it doesn't matter what level you're at. It doesn't matter whether you're from a completely different genre of music. If you have kind of manners and respect for something that exists before you arrive to it. So I'm thinking of even me as a musician who's been playing for 35 years or more.
What's
Yeah, nearly 40 years at this stage. But if I went into a session in a place where I wouldn't normally be, so the rules are exactly the same. It's not as if I have different rules just because I can play better.
mhm.
The rules are the same if I go into, it's not even rules, that's a horrible term. It's kind of
Well,
guidelines.
but
It's
it
a
is.
soft kind of thing.
It's yes, but it
If I
is.
went into a session in a different part of the country where I wouldn't know anybody and they
Mhm.
wouldn't know me, and I'm not going to just sit down and take out my fiddle and go, I'm here. And I'm going to join you, because it's like somebody's maybe in a pub and you're with friends, and next thing somebody sits down beside you and says, I'm here, I'm going to talk to me, and I'm going to talk to you, and you're like, who's this person? If it's a birthday party or something, or if there's because it's a social event. A session is a social event. It's very much about the people who are in it as much as about the music. I would try and respect what's there already. I wouldn't actually join a session if I didn't know anybody. That's just my number one rule. I would wait for some sort of an opening. Now,
Mhm.
if it was somewhere that I could go a couple of times, like if I was going to be there for a month or so, I would go back a couple of times before I'd
Mhm.
actually take out the fiddle, or even let them know that I have a fiddle. Although maybe I might, if the musicians came to the bar, I would sit at the bar maybe and listen and enjoy it. And then at some stage, because I would be listening for the tunes as well, I would think, maybe I don't know enough. I don't know any of these tunes, which is very possible.
Mhm.
Or maybe they play faster than I like to play, or maybe they play slower than I like to play. I would, at least if I'm sitting at the bar listening, I can assess all those things and suss them out and go, maybe this session isn't for me, or "Oh, I'd love to play in that session. Wonder if I feel like that, I'd love to play in that session. Then if one of the musicians comes to the bar, I'll maybe try and strike up a conversation going, that's amazing music.
Yeah.
Really, really enjoyable. I'm sorry I didn't bring my fiddle, or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, do you play?" Or they might go, "All right, okay." And if they do that, then they're just not open to somebody new coming into the session, and that's totally their prerogative. They're totally allowed to have that kind of opinion too. So, and I just have to suck that up.
Yeah. Well, and the way that you brought that up, it's a really good segue because my podcast is about travel, and
Yeah.
you were talking about how if you go into a pub, and that might be a really great thing to say. So instead of going and sitting down at a table or something and expecting that people are just going to invite you into their group,
Mm.
it may not be that way at all. You may have to perhaps earn your way into the group, or you may have to sit there at the bar for a while and enjoy the music and share a laugh. It sounds like you're saying that maybe the people in Ireland are friendly, certainly, but they want maybe to get to know you before you just barge in and say, "Hey, I'm gonna have a pint with all these people in this bar."
Well, I'm a very giddy person sometimes when I'm out. So I think if you're kind of giving off a friendly vibe yourself, people are
Sure.
attracted to that. People are
Yeah,
attracted to friendliness as well, especially if they're friendly.
sure.
So you're always going to get a few people who just don't. Maybe on that one occasion, we don't know what has gone on in their life that evening or that day, and they
Yeah,
might just be coming
sure.
out to just to have a quiet pint and a quiet few tunes with the people that they're comfortable with on that occasion. Maybe the next day or maybe last week they were absolutely on in top form and they were giddy and they were excited and they invited everybody in, but you just don't know. So it's kind of like having like assessing for yourself when you get in
Uh-huh.
there how are they how can you fit in, how can your energy fit in with these people. And then
Reading the
as
room, maybe.
yes, yeah, and then
Yes.
as you kind of are get a bit more comfortable there and they're a bit more comfortable with you, then you can start showing your own personality a bit more, and then they're like, "Cool, this person's really cool. I love this person." Or they can go, "Oh, not so sure about that." That's what. But I'm just kind of a giddy person. If you get me sometimes on a Wednesday night during the summer when we have
Ah,
sessions and people come
yeah.
from all over the world to it, and like we'll just go right. Who is the next victim? Has anybody? Can anybody? Does anybody have a song? Does anybody do anything? You look like you have a song.
Come on in. Yeah,
Would you like to sing? Or yeah, or they're like, actually, I would love to sing. And so yeah,
that's
you just
perfect.
yeah.
Well, let's shift gears and talk a little bit about Ireland and travel. So, you are also a tour guide among your many
Huh?
talents. So, we
Yes.
want to take advantage of that. Now, Ireland, of course, is a gorgeous country with all the ancient ruins and the castles and the rolling green countryside, the storybook villages that you have. But Dublin is incredibly expensive. We were talking about Galway starting to charge a tourist tax.
I don't think it's come in yet. I think they're talking about
Yeah,
it.
they're talking about it.
Yeah.
I read about it. So,
And it's only
I
€1, I think, a head per night, so it's
okay.
not too bad.
Not
If it
yeah,
comes yeah, if it comes in. It might not come in at all.
yeah. Since those areas are super crowded, maybe really expensive, some might say overrated. Where would you tell us that people should go if they want to see the real Ireland and they want to meet fantastic people and see incredible beauty, not just what we see on the Instagram posts that everybody's always posting? What would you tell people to do and where would you tell them to go?
I mean, I'm gonna be biased and say Donegal.
That's all right. That's what I want you to do is tell us about the places that maybe people don't go to see.
There seems to be in the tourism industry here, and I think it's within the hospitality sector,
Mhm.
as in the some of the tour operators, and I don't know if it's the Irish tour operators, I think it might be actually, that work with other operators outside of Ireland. They have this notion in their heads and they actively promote it that you draw a line between Dublin and Galway and don't go above it. Now, I don't know why they say that or what their motive is for that. I've never been able to find out what it is and why, but it means the bottom half of the country gets probably two-thirds of the tourism,
Okay.
which is fine. They can have it.
Mhm.
I'm particularly delighted that we're in the top half that gets a lot less tourism. So when we get tourists, we treat them with respect, number one, that they're not on a
Mhm.
conveyor belt
Uh-huh.
and that we really enjoy their presence. So we have to keep this a secret. So listeners, don't tell anybody or I will
That's
kill you.
right. That's right.
Okay, my top thing about coming to Ireland, it's not always about the landscape. It is lovely and it is green. It's very green.
Very green, yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't matter what part of Ireland you go to. It's green and there is beautiful scenery, lots of beautiful scenery, but it's the people. Try and get lost. Try and go down a small road where you'll meet a farmer and two farmers out standing on the road talking, um, and just get chatting to them. Or go into the local pub and just don't be afraid to talk to people because people love to talk in Ireland. We're great talkers and we'll tell lots of stories. We
Yeah.
talk if you talk about the weather first, that's always a good way of getting a good entry point because we talk about the weather. It changes. You could have four seasons within 5 minutes. So
Sure.
today was beautiful. The sun was shining now, and there's also like a storm as well.
Mhm.
We could honestly have four seasons within an hour anyway. So
Yeah, absolutely. I found people love to talk about themselves. Just
yeah,
ask questions. Tell me your story. Oh my, that sounds fascinating. Tell me about yourself because I think most people really enjoy speaking about their own
Yeah,
perspectives and
that's
what they
true.
do in their life.
Yeah.
So tell me some truly underappreciated villages or sites that are in your area that you would recommend people see.
I work as a tour guide in one of the distilleries, one of the new
How
distilleries as well.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I work there part-time, and then I also do some of the cruise ships that come in to Kellybegs.
Okay.
I do some
Okay.
of the bus tours from that as well.
Okay.
So I kind of I do recommend going around and seeing all the little villages. It is part of the Wild Atlantic Way in Donegal, the west coast is. Um,
Okay.
so that route might be ever so slightly more tourist heavy than some of the just off the Wild Atlantic Way. Now, it's still not hugely busy.
Okay.
Maybe July is a little bit busier because of
Uh-huh.
the 12th of July. I don't know if you know of the 12th of July. The 12th of July is a holiday in Northern Ireland.
Uh-huh.
It's a kind of a political thing. Probably best to avoid Northern Ireland on the 12th of July around
Okay.
that time because it can be a bit of a tense time.
Mhm.
But then go to it at any other time. That's actually the north coast of
Uh-huh.
Northern Ireland is stunning, stunning
Mm,
scenery, and there are no tourists. Oh, it's
really
beautiful,
beautiful.
and
Yeah.
nobody goes, nobody sees it. But I can't say that because I'm sending you over to Northern Ireland. I have to keep you here in Donegal.
Keep you in Donegal. All right. So what's the best time of year to visit for weather?
Oh, for weather, actually, the last few years we seem to have had really nice April and May.
Mhm. Mhm.
Have had
Oh,
quite
nice.
dry, very
Rain. Yeah.
dry. So you just never know.
You don't. Of course.
Sorry, listeners.
So I went to Scotland, okay, and I thought I was gonna eat haggis the entire
I
time, and I was
love haggis. I
oh, okay. Well,
love
I
it.
tried it and I actually liked it, but I was so pleasantly surprised at how fantastic the food was.
Mm,
Variety, quality, just excellent food. In Ireland, I think people think of potatoes and soda bread
and
and
stew.
stew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is the deal with Irish cuisine? Is it only potatoes, stew, and soda bread? Or am I going to be happily surprised if I come to Ireland and I find a lot of different cuisines, options to eat? What am I going to find?
I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. I mean, I love
Okay.
there's some restaurants that have there we do have Michelin star restaurants as well.
Yes,
They're hard to
absolutely.
get into. They're probably a couple
Yeah,
of
of
months of waiting
course.
list.
Yeah.
But there are some really good, like, fresh food. That's my favorite ones that have their garden outside. So
Yeah.
they have a
Farm to
lot of
table kind of things. Yeah.
yeah. Now there's not a lot of those, but there's a few. There's one in Cavan that I adore. Oh my God. It's in Clover Hill. The Old Post Inn, I think it's called. If
Okay.
I'm traveling to Dublin, we would travel through parts of Northern Ireland, and then into Cavan. Actually, this Clover Hill is kind of right on the border of Northern Ireland. Between Northern Ireland and the Republic, there are no like hard borders. So it has like all the lots of herbs and things outside, and you can really taste the difference.
Oh, yeah.
I now
Exactly.
seek out those places that have the freshest
The
ingredients,
fresh tasting.
and they are
Yeah.
lovely. We do
Yeah.
lovely seafood as well.
Okay.
And it's funny, I love seafood, but the amount of Irish people that don't eat seafood, and we're an island.
I know,
Imagine.
I love seafood also, yeah. I live in a beach town, an ocean
Yeah,
town, and we consume a lot of seafood here, but you're right, a lot of people don't eat it. They
yeah.
just don't care for it. Well, that's good to know. All
There's
right.
my boss in the distillery. We make a seaweed based gin, which is the only kind of maritime or it's the first
Very
maritime.
herbaceous, I would assume. My
Yeah,
goodness.
it's beautiful. But
Yeah.
she recommends the gin queen Moira. She recommends that you take you eat an oyster. So eat
Oh,
down the
eat your
oyster and then
oysters.
put the gin. It's
Uh-huh.
called Doulaman gin. It's not sweet gin. It's more of a
Yeah,
savory gin. So you put
a
that into
savory
the
gin
gel and then you shake
and
it
drink
about
it.
and then drink it. And I did take that
Wow.
last year for the first time and it was delish.
I
Really nice.
bet.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, do you have any travel hacks that you've learned over your life that you would share with folks who are coming to Ireland for the first time? especially Donegal or the North where you live?
Yeah, one would be avoid the Northern Ireland on the 12th, the
Yes,
12th
on
of
the
July.
12th. That's definitely it.
The other is, yeah, get lost, as in
Yeah,
don't mean to
get lost, not get lost out of here, but get lost and meet some of
yeah,
the local people and see some of the
yes.
local sites.
Get lost
Yeah,
by intention and meet
yeah.
locals. And don't be afraid to talk about the weather. That is a great way in to talk to get meeting people.
Yes, yes.
Um,
To say, "Oh, yeah.
You could meet your best friend forever because there was people who came here and they were staying in an Airbnb near here. They came walking up. We have some goats, sheep, hens,
How
ducks, and
neat."
geese. And so they came walking up and they were so excited. They had their 10-year-old son with them. And
Aw,
so we let them feed the goats
aw.
and so they were so excited about this one goat who was our little pet goat. And so they got to call her. We had no name for her. We were just calling her Goat because she was so entitled. She was such an entitled
My
little girl,
spoiled goats, huh?
spoiled girl. And so they decided they would call her Gertrude. And so we always think of those people when we look at Gertrude. So
That's so sweet. That's a good
yeah,
story. Yeah, and
yeah.
you never know who you're gonna meet.
Yeah, and we still have
Well,
their phone number, so we still can't make
there
contact
you
with each other.
go.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, would you share all of your social media, your websites, everything in case people want to get in contact with you, they want to follow you because you're everywhere, you do so many things and you're so wonderful. People just may say, "Gosh, I want to follow this lady. I want to check her out." Would you let everybody know how they can do that?
Yeah, my website is sessionetiquette.com and all my contact details are on there. You can WhatsApp me there or you can actually contact me or the email address is on it as well. You can contact me through, which goes into my email address anyway, through the contact form. And I do have tours as well. The tours are part of the music thing. It's kind of a music appreciation or a session etiquette appreciation kind of tour in September this year. So that'll be kind of
How
cool.
neat.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited about that.
absolutely. Well, yeah, I hope I get to Ireland soon and actually get to meet you in person. That would be
Yeah, that'll be
super
cool.
fun. I know. So, before we sign off, would you do us the honor of playing us another beautiful tune?
I will. This one is going to be a slow and a sad one.
Okay.
If you don't mind ending on a slow note.
No, I love a little melancholy, haunting tune.
Well, this one is called the Baitu Maithiu, which means the drowning of Matthew.
Oh,
Matthew was a young boy in the 1800s in Ireland from the Kilcar area, which is in Donegal as well. It's actually where Sarah Jessica Parker has a holiday home and Matthew Broderick, they have a holiday home near Kilcar. And so it was a young couple who were madly in love, supposedly. So she decided it was probably post famine time in the mid 1800s. The country didn't have a lot of food, it didn't have a lot of work. So she decided she was going to go to America. She was maybe slightly better off and the family could afford to pay her passage to America. His family weren't as well off. So he said he would try and follow her. He would try and gather them some money and she would send some money back and he would join and she would write as soon as she arrived. And um, so she left and weeks passed, months passed, no letter, no money, nothing. They heard nothing from her. And the Matthew got quite distraught. So he decided he would swim to America
no.
because, yeah. So you all know what that's going to
Yeah,
end like. It's a big ocean.
yeah.
So
Yes,
this
yes.
is from the mother's perspective. It's the lament for her son who passed away, so who drowned. So you can almost hear the mother's cry in this song.
very, very, very mournful. Wow. Gosh, that was gorgeous.
It's a tough one to play even as well 'cause, you know,
Mhm.
you embody that mourning as well, so I have to come out of it.
I know. Wow. But still, that's just beautiful. Is that did you record that on one of your albums?
I haven't, but there is a recording of me playing it on, a YouTube clip from a couple of years
Okay.
back, yeah. So I can send you
I'd
the
love to have that.
spelling
Yeah.
of it so you can put the link to it if
Okay.
you want.
I would love that. Thank you so that we can share that. Again, this has just been
Thank you,
delightful, and I know our listeners have enjoyed it as well.
and I hope to get to see some of them. Let me
I
know when they're coming
know.
to
I
Ireland.
know, and
Uh,
I'm definitely gonna look you up. I think that would be super.
yeah, there's a spot for you in the pub next door now. I have it
Absolutely. I'm ready. I'm ready.
brilliant.
Well, I hope that everyone that's joined us has enjoyed this as much as I have. It's just been super. As always, you can contact me at Shannon at aladywelltraveled.com. That's Shannon at aladywelltraveled.com. That's traveled with two L's. And I'd love to hear what you think of the show. And I am sure that Tara would love to hear from you as well. She would love for you to contact her with any questions about her music, her podcast, her Irish dancing, or
Yeah.
Irish fiddle playing, or whatever it is, traveling to Donegal. So, with that, I'm going to say, remember that God created this big, beautiful world, including Ireland, just for you. And all you need to do is get out there and see it. And so until the next time we talk, bye bye.